make wonderful pets for the right person as long as you understand what is involved when you bring a pair into your household. They are much more challenging and demanding than what the average pet store will tell you. Parrots have traits called vices. You cannot eliminate these traits, only learn to deal with them. The first thing the parrots do to frustrate us is they scream extremely loud at about 110 decibels. To give you an idea how loud that really is, 90 decibels can cause hearing damage. This is a wonderful way for parents to communicate when they are living in the deep rainforest, but if you live in a one-bedroom apartment, assistant is Sir Peter Vascal, and our assistant Anthony is also helping us with our birds this year as well. We're here to tell you a bit about the art of falconry. It's the art of using trained birds of prey as hunting partners. It is a very old hunting sport that started at least 2,000 years before the birth of Christ. In fact, it's about 10,000 years old. First falconers are either the Arabic peoples or the steppe Chinese, and to this day, both these cultures have a strong falconry tradition. When Western Europe came in contact with these peoples through the Silk Trade and Crusades, its spread to Western Europe became immensely popular, to the point that they were literally worth a king's ransom. An example is when King Richard the Lionhearted was returned back to England after his 11-year capture. Part of his ransom was 2 white-faced gyrfalcons from the north. I'm going to start off with a beautiful bird from the New World and have her fly on out here. Come on, pretty. This is Tabasco. She's a Harris hawk, a resident of the desert Southwest. When you visit these birds in their desert environment, note that they will use just about any perch they can find, even cactus, and at times each other's shoulders. When they're on each other's shoulders, we call that laddering. In birds of prey, the female is the larger and more powerful of the two genders. She protects the nest and young. Her smaller, more agile mate will catch the smaller, more easily digested prey items for baby birds of prey to eat, which we call eyases. Are you ready to go back, pretty girl? There she goes, everyone, right on in, our lovely Tabasco, the female Harris hawk. Thank you, everyone. The next two birds we're going to show you are beautiful falcons that are quite commonly found in this area. You have probably seen one of these beautiful little falcons sitting on a post or wire and not even realize that they are quite small, only about the size of a blue jay. In Europe, they're called wind hovers or hover hawks. In America, we call them tillyhawks, hoverhawk, sparrowhawk. It's the most common nickname for America's smallest falcon. That is the American Kestrel. Our assistant Anthony is walking around with our lovely little male, whose name is Osceola, displaying the typical bluish wings of the male. And I'm bringing out our little Irene, who has brown wings. They are one of the few birds of prey that do have a color difference between the genders. They are also a bird of prey that you can invite to reside on your property by providing nest boxes for them. In the wild, they nest in dead hollow trees, so nest boxes are an excellent substitute. Not only are Kessies beautiful, they are very beneficial to eat insects and mice as part of their regular diet. If you are interested in making your property more wildlife friendly, there is the Backyard Habitat Program, where you can put up nest boxes for kestrels and other wildlife, do things on your property to make it more wildlife friendly. And I just read an article in the paper that actually it adds value to your property as well to have it declared as a certified wildlife habitat. So that's another incentive to make it more wildlife friendly. Now I want to tell you the story of these two because kestrels are in decline. We are part of the American Kestrel Partnership to encourage more nest boxes to be installed, but they are down in the past 10 years, so we're trying to figure out why they are declining. Now, Anthony's walking around with our Osceola, and I want to tell you the story. This little falcon was found at the base of a window that he had flown into. Very common injury with birds. You can purchase decals to prevent that. The birds will notice that the window is not something they can fly through. He fractured his left wing, and he had a compressed spine. He did heal up, but not well enough to survive in a while. You notice that the left wing hangs. It's weak. So, well, birds do need perfect wings to survive in the wild, so he has a new career as an educational bird. Irene's story is very different. This little falcon was found inside the engine of a FedEx jet when it landed. Shockingly enough, she was still alive, but terribly burned. Her feathers were singed and her face and feet were burned. She survived and her feathers grew back beautifully, whose name is Newton. Newton is a barn owl, the most nocturnal of all species of owl. Owls you must frequently see at dawn or dusk are either the great horned owl or the barred owl. Sir Peter will be walking around with one of our two barred owls, Norton, so you can see the differences in these two species. First thing people notice on owls is their beautiful faces, which are actually parabolic sound receptors, following what they hear to the ears and the sides of the head, which are placed asymmetrically. Owl's ears are crooked. One is higher than the other and tilted at a different angle. This gives all owls, but barn owls have the best directional hearing of any creature on earth. I'm going to demonstrate that ability. I'm going to go over here, hide out of plain view, and we shall see what we get our Newton to do. He might fly very close to you. He might even brush you with the wing, but feel honored that you have been brushed by an owl. There he is, everyone. Hi, Newton. And if you listen carefully, notice that Newton does not hoot. Barn owls make a variety of noises other than hoots, which make them responsible for a lot of the hauntings in the old buildings that they occupy. Unfortunately, they are declining in numbers in the wild. Our farming practices have changed. Wooden barns and silos, which are ideal for them to hunt from a nest, have been replaced with metal buildings. Wise farmers and landowners, realizing the rodent control value of owls, they are putting up nest boxes and perching platforms for owls to hunt from. One pair of barn owls in the spring was observed bringing 23 mice to the nest in a 1.5 hour period. Excellent. Natural rodent control, far more ecologically sound than using cats. Studies have shown that cats for rodent control present a lot of problems. Instead of killing destructive rodents, cats kill our beneficial songbirds. Almost 4 billion birds a year are killed by this invasive species. And yes, I'm talking about the average house cat. They're in the same category as other invasive species. This is an alarm cry because our birds are down by 40% in the past decade alone. So there's a program called Cats Indoors to educate folks about the hazards to our wildlife of letting cats free range. Great program. Feel free to grab one of our business cards and go to the links page on our birdsofprey.net site and you'll find out more about it. Sir Peter's walking around with our beautiful barred owl, whose name is Norton. Norton was found hit on the side of the road in upstate New York, and he has some permanent crippling injuries from the auto collision. His left eye is blind from the retina being separated. His left wing is fused at the wrist from the bones being broken. Inadvertently, we are all responsible for such injuries. I don't know if anyone who tosses trash on the road, but if you are done with a food item, that apple core, that pizza crust, you toss that on the road, you attract rodents. In turn, it attracts their predators. Well over 60,000 birds of prey are killed in our highways each year, and let's reduce those numbers, not toss out attractive nuisance food trash. I've already told you how accurately they can hear. Well, at night, source of light for an owl only needs to be the equivalent of a candle held 1/2 mile away. They can fly silently because of their soft, muffled feathers. Turn their heads 270 degrees so I can look at something. Their eyes are fixed in the skull, so they turn their heads instead. But owls do have a very poor sense of smell. To give you an idea how poor an owl's sense of smell really is, great horned owls love to kill and eat skunks. Now these two are going back, everyone. We're going to have a beautiful red-tailed hawk and a lovely peregrine falcon hybrid. We normally fly red-tails, but not this time of the year. It is nesting season. The native local red-tails do not like any intruders in their territory, so we want to avoid what we call a hawk war. So he stays on the fist, nice and safe. I want to tell you a little bit about the hawk that Sir Peter will be bringing out. His name is Buster. Buster is now 12 years old, and he was part of a PBS special that airs each Thanksgiving called My Life as a Turkey. We recreated a scene where we were doing a predation scene with him. He's a handsome fellow. We're very proud to be part of such an educational venue. I want to tell you Bavin's story, for he is unusual. He is 3/4 peregrine falcon and 1/4 lanner falcon. How he came to be is this. His father was a captive bred hybrid, half lanner falcon, half peregrine, who became wayward from his falconer but was able to establish a living out in the wild. He took up a mate. The mate was a pure female peregrine. Nesting occurred at the Shrine of the Immaculate Conception in Washington, D.C. Hence his name Bavin for Saint Bavin, the patron saint of falconers. He's such a handsome bird, displaying the bluish color that often frequents the male lanner falcon, and he is now 13 years of age, and he likes to talk to me. Chippy-chop. Chop. He likes to talk to me. We want to show you the differences between hawks and falcons. They look very much alike. They have sharp talons and sharp beaks for hunting. That is where the similarity ends. Buster, being a hawk, has broad wings for soaring, softer plumage, and a proportionally much longer tail than Baven, who has pointed wings for high-speed pursuits, stiffer plumage, and a shorter tail. Hawks like Buster are hunters of scrubbush and woodlands. Falcons like Baven are hunters of the open sky. Peregrines are the world's fastest bird. They strike their prey with a powerful blow of the feet. Injured prey, usually a bird like a grackle or a duck, will flutter to the ground. They then land on it, reach down, sever the spinal cord of the base neck with a simple twist of the beak. And if you look carefully, all falcons have a notch on the beak called a terminal tooth just for that purpose. The high-speed dive of the peregrine was confirmed by a falconer and skydiver named Ken Franklin. This gentleman actually goes skydiving with his peregrine, and that's what we call extreme falconry. Hawks like Buster, though, and our Elizabeth the Cooper's hawk use their tails as rudders to twist and turn through trees and scrub after their quarry, which is primarily mammalian. Cooper's hawks are very common in this area, and they love to use your bird feeder as the mixed sparrow fly through. So if you feed birds, you're also inviting the Cooper's hawks to dine in as well. So we're going to put these two back, and we're going to get our Harris hawks ready for their part of the show. The unique thing about the Harris hawk, they hunt together in family groups, much like a pack of wolves. They would share in their prey once they're successful. They're communal nesters as well. The young from the previous year will hang around mom and dad and help the current year fledglings learn to hunt and provide food for them. So they're one big happy Harris hawk family. Now, one thing about the Harris hawks is that they are and will have free range in this entire arena. So if you brought any articles of food, especially those royal turkey legs, hide them from view of the hawks. I don't think any of you would appreciate a Wild Kingdom moment in the middle of your meal. And if you are done with your turkey leg, do not discard even the tiniest piece on the ground, because they happen to have eyes like a hawk. And they'll go looking for it, especially our little Mercedes. She's learned to find goodies that way, and we're trying to discourage that. So we have the perch ready here. We have a T-post. Thank you, Anthony. And what we are doing here is we do need the assistance of somebody. So anybody out here, a young person, show me your enthusiasm. Show me your enthusiasm. Okay, Anthony, you may select. Okay, come on down. All right. Yes. And what is your name, please? Okay, Nicholas. First, you need to put the biohazard hat on. Do you know what I mean by that? Okay, you drop the cord because you'll want to look up. You don't want the hat to blow off your head. All right, and you hold the T-post. This is what we use in a field where we don't have a safe or suitable place for our birds to land. We take the perches with us. So I'm going to get ready first with Tabasco, then with Mercedes. Okay, I'm ready. Come on, Tabasco. Good girl, Tabasco. She'll go right up here. She is 15. Tabasco. Oh, she says, I'm not done with my treat. There you go. You ready to go up, Tabasco? Come on, pretty. You got that. Oh, you see the other piece. Okay. I was saving that for Sadie. She says, no, she's not getting that one. All right. Sadie, here's your treat. There you go, honey. There you go, sweetheart. There's Mercedes. There you go. Come on, sweetheart. Come on. All right. And then, come on, Doc, our little boy. Come on, sweetheart. He's a little bit smaller. The girls fly at 800 grams. He flies at about 650 to 700 grams. There you go. There you go, you three. And doesn't that look intimidating? If you were a pest bird, would you want to move to a new place? That's what we call falconry-based bird abatement. I just dropped a piece and Sadie just found it. There you go. All right. Okay, Sadie. Now you notice that our birds do enjoy the hawk food. This is a gourmet hawk food, a combination of chopped whole chicken, quail pate, and marinated minced mouse. Since they are predators, we do our best to copy their natural diet that consists of the aforementioned rodents and chicks, squaw, partridge, and of course, game that they've caught. Predators that you have at home, your cats and dogs practice these same dietary habits if given a chance. If you've ever watched your pets eat what they've caught, note that they eat the entire animal if it is small enough, and with larger prey, they eat the less appetizing internal organs. Predatory animals do require vegetables in their diet. It comes from consuming the stomach, intestines, and viscera of the prey they caught. or the entire carcass if it is small enough. Doc and Tabasco are heading up into the trees, and Sadie's still following you. All right. Going to play a little game of catch with the Harris Hawk, though. And please heed Sir Peter's warning.
Don't look up with your mouth open.
Here comes Tabasco, everyone. Got it! Good girl, Tabasco. There you go. Cleanup duty goes Sadie. Sadie, you want to play? He got it. Oh, no he didn't. Sadie, you ready? Show us your footwork. Here you go, Nicholas. Yeah. And Doc's doing the same. She went under the fence. There you go. Roadrunner combined with ballerina and snowshoes. There you go. Take your pick. All right. But being a bird of prey out in the wild would seem to be a wonderful way to live. You get to go out hunting whenever you're hungry. You're the master or mistress of your domain. Harsh, cold fact of nature. Up to 9 out of 10 of these birds that have hatched in the wild this past spring will be dead before their first birthday. Young hawks die through either injury, disease, or most commonly, starvation. This is where falconry is found to be very beneficial to the birds that we come across and train. We take the migrants, train them for a season, and release them the following spring. We have found the survival rate to be considerably higher than if we had left them on their own in the wild. An example is a red-tailed hawk that I flew for 11 years. First year she caught just 2 squirrels, but because she paid the price of her mistakes by starving to death, as a falconry bird, she got an evening meal even if the hunt were unsuccessful. And she did well the next year, 26 squirrels and 10 rabbits. Also, falconers were the ones to develop techniques to breed these birds in captivity and release the progeny of these projects back into the wild, starting with the endangered peregrine. And I am pleased to say that after over 45 years, the peregrine is no longer endangered. They are now off the list of endangered species. Thank you, everyone. We falconers are extremely proud of this leadership role that we played in restoring these beautiful birds back to the rightful place in nature. You ready to come on in, Sadie? Come on, silly girl. Now, Nicholas, point. Just put. You need a bribe? No, she'll come on over. That's the signal for her to come on over to the Persian. Ready to go in, Sadie? There we go. Safe and sound. All 3 of them are in, right, Sir Peter? All 3 of them in. And let's have a hand for our helper, Nicholas. Didn't he do a great job? How'd that biohazard hat work? Oh, just fine. And before you go, Nicholas and Anthony, it's going to help you. Please turn to our lovely audience and take a bow.